Did you know the average person has over 6,000 thoughts a day, and a staggering 80% of them are negative? That means most of us spend our mental energy stuck in a cycle of self-doubt, fear, and worry. I know this because I've been there too. For years, I let my thoughts control me, overanalyzing past mistakes, fearing the future, and feeling overwhelmed by emotions I couldn't manage. But what if I told you there's a way to take control of your mind, break free from this negativity, and master your emotions? That's exactly what I discovered when I stumbled upon Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that's surprisingly practical for modern life. In this video, I'll show you how Stoicism transformed my mindset and gave me the tools to live with clarity and confidence, and how it can do the same for you. Are you ready to escape the negativity trap and take control of your life? Today we're diving into Stoicism, a 2,000-year-old philosophy that's more relevant than ever. But before we begin, let me ask you, have you ever felt overwhelmed by your thoughts? Maybe you've replayed an awkward conversation, worried about something you can't control, or beat yourself up over a mistake. If that sounds familiar, trust me, you're not alone. I used to struggle with this too. There was a time when I felt like my mind was running on autopilot, constantly filled with negativity. I'd get stuck thinking, what if I'm not good enough? Or, why can't I just stop overthinking? The worst part was, the more I focused on these thoughts, the more they seemed to control me. That's when I started searching for answers, and I came across Stoicism. At first I thought, how could an ancient philosophy possibly help with modern problems like stress and anxiety? But as I started learning and applying its principles, something incredible happened. I began to notice a shift in my mindset. I realized I didn't have to be a victim of my thoughts. Stoicism taught me practical techniques to manage negativity, master my emotions, and approach life's challenges with clarity and resilience. And that's why I'm so excited to share this philosophy with you today. Whether you're dealing with stress, self-doubt, or just want to live with more intention, Stoicism offers tools that anyone can use. Together, we're going to explore its key principles and learn how to apply them to our daily lives. So, grab a notebook, settle in, and get ready to take the first step toward a calmer, more powerful mind. Let's talk about negative thinking. We all experience it. Those nagging thoughts that replay past mistakes or imagine worst-case scenarios for the future. But have you ever stopped to think about how much this pattern affects your life? Research from the National Science Foundation found that around 80% of our thoughts are negative, and 95% are repetitive. This means we're not only thinking negatively most of the time, but we're also repeating the same harmful patterns over and over again. Imagine the toll this takes on your mental health, your energy, and your ability to focus on what really matters. For me, this cycle hit its peak during a particularly stressful time in my life. I was working on a high-pressure project, and every time something went wrong, I'd beat myself up. I'd think, why didn't I see this coming? Or, what if I fail completely? Instead of focusing on solutions, I was stuck in a loop of worry and self-criticism. Can you relate? Maybe you've felt this way before, unable to break free from thoughts that make you feel stuck, overwhelmed, or even helpless. The good news is this isn't your fault. Our brains are wired with something called the negativity bias, a survival mechanism designed to help our ancestors avoid danger. But in today's world, where the threats aren't saber-toothed tigers but deadlines, social media comparisons, and personal conflicts, this bias often works against us. This is where Stoicism comes in. Unlike other approaches that tell you to just think positive, which, let's be honest, rarely works, Stoicism provides practical, actionable tools to manage negativity at its root. It's not about ignoring your emotions or forcing yourself to feel happy. It's about understanding your thoughts, questioning them, and learning to respond to challenges with clarity and intention. Let's break this down into 3 common challenges people face with negative thinking and emotional turmoil, and how Stoicism can help. Have you ever replayed a past mistake over and over, wishing you could go back and change it? This is something I used to struggle with all the time. For example, I once missed an important opportunity because I was too nervous to speak up in a meeting. For days afterward, I kept thinking, why didn't I say something? I should have been more confident. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't change the past, we can control how we learn from it. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When I started applying this principle, I shifted my focus. Instead of beating myself up, I asked, what can I learn from this? How can I prepare for the next opportunity? This small change in perspective gave me the clarity to move forward, rather than staying stuck in regret. Think about a recent mistake you've been dwelling on. What if, instead of replaying it in your head, you asked yourself, what lesson can I take from this? How do you think that might change your outlook? Another common challenge is worrying about things that haven't even happened yet. I remember preparing for a big presentation and being consumed by thoughts like, what if I forget my points? What if someone asks a question I can't answer? These worries drained my energy and made it harder to focus on what I needed to do. Stoicism addresses this with the practice of premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. It's not about dwelling on the worst-case scenario. It's about calmly considering potential challenges and planning how to handle them. Before that presentation, I sat down and wrote out everything that could go wrong. Then, I thought about how I'd respond. If I forgot my points, I'd have a backup slide. If I didn't know an answer, I'd say, "That's a great question. I'll follow up with you after." This exercise completely shifted my mindset. Instead of feeling anxious, I felt prepared. What's something in your life right now that's making you anxious? How could you use this technique to face it with more confidence? The final challenge is emotional overwhelm. Have you ever been so frustrated, angry, or upset that you reacted in a way you later regretted? Maybe you snapped at someone in a moment of stress, or made a decision you wished you could take back. Stoicism teaches us to pause and create space between stimulus and response. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor, wrote in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Here's an example from my own life. I once received harsh feedback from a coworker on a project I'd worked really hard on. My initial reaction was to get defensive, but then I remembered this principle. Instead of reacting, I took a deep breath and asked myself, what's within my control here? I realized I couldn't control the feedback, but I could control how I responded. I calmly asked for clarification and used the feedback to improve my work. The result? Not only did I grow from the experience, but I also gained more respect from my coworker for handling the situation maturely. The next time you feel yourself getting overwhelmed by emotions, try pausing and asking, what's within my control? It's a simple question, but it can completely change how you handle challenges. As you can see, Stoicism isn't about ignoring negativity or pretending everything is fine. It's about equipping yourself with practical tools to face life's challenges with strength and clarity. By focusing on what's in your control, reframing obstacles, and preparing for challenges before they happen, you can break free from the grip of negative thinking and take charge of your emotions. Which of these challenges resonates most with you? And how do you think Stoicism could help you handle it? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now that we've looked at the challenges of negative thinking and emotional overwhelm, let's explore how Stoicism helps us tackle these issues head-on. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy to read about, it's a way of life. It offers practical tools to shift your mindset, regain control, and face life's challenges with clarity. Here are the key principles and how you can apply them in your daily life. The first one is the dichotomy of control. At the heart of Stoicism is one of its most famous principles, the dichotomy of control. Simply put, this means focusing your energy only on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and choices, and letting go of what you can't control, like other people's opinions, the past, or unpredictable events. This idea comes from the philosopher Epictetus, who said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." While this may sound obvious, it's surprisingly difficult to put into practice, especially when we're caught up in the heat of the moment. Here's a personal example. A few years ago, I was anxiously awaiting feedback on a project I'd poured my heart into. I kept thinking, What if they don't like it? What if I get criticized? I realized I was stressing over something I had zero control over, their opinion. Instead, I shifted my focus to what I could control, ensuring my work was thorough, anticipating possible questions, and preparing myself to respond constructively to feedback. This mindset not only reduced my anxiety but also made me feel more confident and in control. Think about a situation in your life right now where you're feeling stressed or frustrated. Ask yourself, what's in my control? What's not? When you focus only on what you can change, you free yourself from unnecessary worry and mental clutter. Studies in psychology, especially on locus of control, show that people who focus on internal factors, what they can control, tend to have lower stress levels and higher emotional resilience than those who fixate on external factors. The second one is reframing obstacles as opportunities. Another core principle of Stoicism is the idea of reframing challenges. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors, wrote in his journal, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that obstacles are not roadblocks, they're stepping stones. Challenges can teach us lessons, help us grow stronger, and lead us to opportunities we might not have otherwise discovered. Here's an example. I once applied for a job I really wanted only to be rejected after the final interview. At first, I was crushed. I kept thinking, why wasn't I good enough? But then I remembered this Stoic principle. I asked myself, how can I turn this into an opportunity? That rejection pushed me to reevaluate my skills and take an online course to improve. A few months later, I landed a job that was an even better fit for me. Think about a challenge you're facing right now. How might you reframe it? Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? When you see obstacles as opportunities, they stop being barriers and become tools for your personal development. The third one is premeditatio malorum, preparing for challenges. Have you ever imagined the worst-case scenario for a situation and felt overwhelmed by fear or anxiety? The Stoics had a practice for this, called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. At first glance, this might sound like dwelling on negativity, but it's actually the opposite. By calmly visualizing potential challenges or setbacks, you can prepare yourself mentally and emotionally to face them with strength. Visualization techniques like this are widely used in sports psychology and business to enhance performance. Research shows that mentally rehearsing scenarios reduces anxiety and improves outcomes in high-pressure situations. The fourth and last one is daily reflection and gratitude. Finally, Stoicism emphasizes the importance of reflection and gratitude. The Stoics believed that self-awareness is key to personal growth. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, practiced nightly reflection, asking himself, what did I do well today? What could I have done better? This simple habit has been transformative in my own life. Every night, I journal for 5 minutes. I write down one thing I'm grateful for, one thing I'm proud of, one thing I could improve. One night after a particularly stressful day, I realized I'd handled a tough situation with patience and understanding, a skill I'd been working on for months. That moment of reflection reminded me of my progress and motivated me to keep improving. How often do you take time to reflect on your day? If you're not already doing this, I challenge you to try it for a week. Write down one small win each day and see how it shifts your mindset. You'll be surprised by how much clarity and gratitude this simple practice can bring to your life. Research tie-in. Studies show that daily journaling and practicing gratitude can reduce stress, improve mental health, and boost overall happiness. It's a proven way to enhance self-awareness and emotional well-being. These principles, focusing on what you can control, reframing obstacles, preparing for challenges, and reflecting daily, aren't just abstract ideas. They're tools you can use right now to transform the way you think and feel. Which principle resonates with you the most? How do you think you could apply it to your life? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now that we've explored the key principles of Stoicism, let's focus on one of the most transformative practices: how to stay calm and in control when life feels overwhelming. Think about this. How often do you feel like life is throwing challenges at you faster than you can handle? Maybe it's a stressful work project, an argument with a loved one, or an unexpected setback. It's in these moments of chaos that Stoicism truly shines. One of my favorite quotes from Epictetus is this: "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This simple yet profound idea changed everything for me. For years, I thought I had to fix every problem, control every situation, and make everything perfect. But Stoicism taught me that I don't have to control the world. I only need to control my response to it. Here's a real-life example. I once had a project deadline moved up unexpectedly. My first reaction was panic. How was I supposed to finish everything on time? But then I remembered Epictetus's words. I paused and asked myself, what's within my control right now? Instead of wasting energy on frustration, I broke the project into smaller tasks, delegated where I could, and focused on what I could realistically accomplish. The result? Not only did I meet the deadline, but I also discovered new ways to work efficiently under pressure. One of the most important tools Stoicism offers is the ability to pause before reacting. Have you ever been in a situation where your emotions got the best of you? Maybe you snapped at someone in frustration or made a hasty decision you later regretted. The Stoics teach us that between stimulus and response there's a moment of choice. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This idea reminds us that while we can't control what happens to us, we can always control how we respond. I remember a time when I received harsh feedback from a colleague on a project I'd worked really hard on. My first instinct was to get defensive, to explain why I did things the way I did. But instead of reacting emotionally, I took a deep breath and asked myself, what can I learn from this? By choosing to listen instead of argue, I gained valuable insights that helped me improve, not just the project, but also my relationship with that colleague. Here's a simple, practical exercise I call the Stoic Reset to help you master your response in stressful situations. Pause and breathe. When something triggers you, stop and take 3 slow, deep breaths. This interrupts your automatic emotional reaction. Ask the right question. Say to yourself, what's within my control right now? Focus on actions you can take, not the problem itself. Choose your response. Decide how you'll respond thoughtfully, rather than reacting impulsively. For example, imagine you're stuck in traffic and running late for an important meeting. Instead of stressing over something you can't change, you could use this time to prepare mentally, rehearse key points, or listen to a calming podcast. This shift in mindset turns a frustrating situation into a productive one. Another Stoic technique that can transform how you handle challenges is premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. By calmly visualizing the worst-case scenario, you can reduce its emotional impact and prepare yourself to respond with resilience. Let me share a personal example. Before giving my first major public speech, I was terrified of all the things that could go wrong, forgetting my points, stumbling over my words, or losing the audience's attention. Instead of avoiding those fears, I faced them head-on. I asked myself, what's the worst that could happen, and how would I handle it? I imagined forgetting my points and calmly checking my notes. I pictured someone asking a tough question and responding with, "That's a great question. I'll follow up with more details afterward." By rehearsing these scenarios, I walked into that speech feeling confident and prepared. And guess what? None of my worst fears came true. Think about a situation you're facing right now that feels overwhelming. What's the worst-case scenario? How would you handle it if it actually happened? By preparing for the worst, you'll often find that it's not as scary as it seems. Finally, Stoicism helps us see the bigger picture. Sometimes we get so caught up in small frustrations that we lose sight of what really matters. The Stoics remind us to ask, will this matter a year from now? 5 years from now? One of the most impactful lessons I learned was during a disagreement with a close friend. At the time, it felt like a huge deal. But when I stepped back and asked myself, does this argument really matter in the grand scheme of our friendship? The answer was clear. It didn't. That perspective helped me let go of my ego, apologize, and focus on what truly mattered: maintaining the relationship. Stoicism isn't about being perfect or emotionless. It's about equipping yourself with tools to handle life's inevitable challenges with grace, strength, and clarity. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The next time life throws you a curveball, remember these principles. Pause before reacting. Focus on what you can control, and reframe challenges as opportunities. These small shifts in perspective can have a profound impact on your mindset, your emotions, and your overall well-being. What's one challenge in your life right now that you wish you could handle differently? How might these Stoic practices help you face it? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear how you'd apply these ideas in your own life. Let's take a moment to recap what we've explored today. Stoicism, though an ancient philosophy, is a practical and powerful guide for modern life. Its principles can help us manage negative thinking, master our emotions, and navigate life's challenges with clarity and confidence. We started with the dichotomy of control, one of Stoicism's foundational ideas. This principle reminds us to focus only on what's within our power, our thoughts, actions, and choices, and let go of what we can't control, like other people's opinions, the past, or random events. Just imagine how freeing it would feel to stop worrying about things that are truly beyond your control. Then we discussed the importance of reframing obstacles as opportunities. Instead of seeing challenges as setbacks, Stoicism teaches us to view them as stepping stones to growth. Life is full of hurdles, but how you approach them determines whether they break you down or build you up. We also explored premeditatio malorum, the practice of preparing for challenges before they happen. By visualizing potential obstacles, not as a source of fear, but as opportunities to plan and strengthen ourselves, we can face uncertainty with confidence and composure. And finally, we talked about the power of reflection and gratitude. Taking a few minutes each day to review your actions, celebrate your progress, and identify areas for improvement can transform how you view yourself and your life. Gratitude, even for the smallest things, shifts your focus from what's missing to what's meaningful. These principles aren't just abstract ideas, they're actionable tools you can start using today. Stoicism has helped me let go of unnecessary stress, embrace life's challenges, and feel more grounded in the present moment. And I truly believe it can do the same for you. Imagine waking up each day with a calm, focused mind. Instead of reacting impulsively to life's challenges, you respond with thoughtfulness and clarity. Imagine letting go of the constant overthinking and negativity that drains your energy, and instead, feeling empowered by the knowledge that you can handle whatever comes your way. That's the power of Stoicism. It's not about suppressing emotions or being detached from life. It's about living fully, with purpose and resilience, no matter what life throws at you. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The key to emotional well-being and mental peace lies not in changing the world around you, but in changing how you think about it. This is the essence of Stoicism. So where do you go from here? Start small. Pick one principle from today's video that resonated with you the most. Maybe it's focusing on what you can control. Maybe it's reframing a current challenge in your life. Or perhaps it's taking 5 minutes tonight to reflect on your day and write down something you're grateful for. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight. But with consistent effort, these small practices can lead to a profound transformation in your mindset and emotional well-being. And here's something to keep in mind. Stoicism is a journey, not a destination. The Stoic philosophers themselves didn't expect perfection. They simply aimed to improve a little every day. You don't have to get it right all the time, you just have to keep moving forward. And don't forget, if you found value in this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss new content. Together, we're creating a community of growth, clarity, and strength. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Remember, the path to a calmer, stronger mind starts with one small step. Let's keep growing together. See you in the next video.